Hello, welcome to another one of my Not Your Average Bible Studies. My name is Allie with A. Marie Speaks, and today is September 28th, 2025. Here on a wonderful Sacred Sunday to read more of this amazing book. This coming chapter, Matthew 23, today. When I read this, I was in awe. I wrote a note to myself in my journal, and 23 is a roast on the Pharisees and the Sadducees. An ultimate roast. And a mic drop. And to me, I thought, wow, what a brave, courageous, honest, strong man. You know? To be able to say these things. And also, it's standing up against the social norm, the traditional kind of normalcy, and also the tyranny, really, because it's kind of like pressured on you if you're living at those times in those families and in those steady states and everything. Culture was very oppressive and really impeding in direct life, you know. And there's a lot of like punishments, very restrictive and fear-based and abusive. And I look at it that from, and I'm an outsider. This is, like I said, non-traditional reading, and I'm not from a traditional background, so, but I have been learning more and looking more at the time period and the story and everything of it, and also, of course, reading the New Testament itself. Probably let it speak for itself here, and I will in just a minute, because I am hoping to read a majority of 23 today, maybe the whole thing. We'll see. I might try to read the whole thing through just because it really all goes together. However, I might be drawn to make side comments. Just some things are so well said, deep, metaphysical. They're multi-layered and multi-dimensional, and so potent for us to recognize, understand, and learn from right now, because we are being confronted the same exact thing, and what's to come, and how far it goes. I guess we'll see what happens. But I mean, even pretty much the layman and the normies out there even notice it's biblical times, very heightened religious extremes happening out in the world even. So I think, we could really learn a lot. We could really take heed from these words and draw parallel lines, because service doesn't lie. And service is still the same. It's still service to self or service to others. It's still positive and free-flowing or negative and restrictive. Circuitry doesn't lie. And you cannot serve two masters. So, no matter what, and I haven't read it yet, but it's, great line. Actually, my younger son is the one who ever introduced me to this line. Anyway, I'm not going to even get into that right now, but saying that Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and always. And I just thought, yes, the truth is always the same, and it is always the same battle and choice So to see it playing out today in our world is, I think, quite phenomenal, quite miraculous. The proof's right there, you know? So anyway, let's get into 23 and hear what Jesus has to say. Then spake Jesus to the multitude and to his disciples, saying, the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. All therefore whatsoever they bid you observe, that observe and do. But do not ye after their works, for they say and do not. And it's just like, what an elegant, long-standing way to just call someone a hypocrite, right? It's the laws for thee, not for me kind of thing that we've seen and we saw play out very much through 2020, you know? It's crazy. But anyways, picking up at 4. For they bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne, and lay them on men's shoulders, but they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers. Still to this day, this is how you know. This is big industry. This is big business. This is the globalists, all the people, all the world nonprofit and all these things that have been forever trying to save the world and fix everything, and nothing ever comes of it. You know, it's always the do-gooder plans and all this like charity up front and all, you know, it's never comes to anything. There's never, where's the cure? Where's the product? Where's the answers and the solutions? You know? Heck, where's the information, the prevention? Can't talk about any of that. Anyways. 5. But all their works they do for to be seen of men. They make broad their phalansteries and enlarge their borders of their garments, and love the uppermost rooms at feasts and chief seats in the synagogues, and greetings in the markets, and to be called of men, Rabbi, Rabbi. But be not ye called Rabbi, for one is your master, even Christ, and all ye are brethren. And call no man your father upon earth, for one is your Father which is in heaven. Neither be ye called masters, for one is your master, even Christ. But he that is greatest amongst you shall be your servant. This I absolutely love. This idea and this deep teaching and what it truly Father's love means, and the leader should be and is and knows. And just to draw a parallel to this, I've talked about this a couple of different times, but you know, I think we need good men, and we need to be raising good men. And I have 2 sons and a good husband, and I've learned so much from him about what it is to be strong, what it is to create security and protection and provide. And an example of this is, say, with dinner. This is, you know, something that came to me one day as like an epiphany. I had never really recognized it to be anything kind of scripture-based or biblical or godly or anything, but it most certainly is. You know, we'd make dinner together always. I'm not a good cook. He is the cook. But I'm a good helper. But after everything is made, you know, we were always big on, you know, having, and we still are, but it's loosened up a little bit as the boys have gotten a little older in these later years, but especially when they were smaller. And we did all the school schedule and all this kind of stuff. It was, you know, always a routine after work and before I went to work, because I used to work the night shift at the hospital. We would have dinner after my older son had got out of school, and he was in elementary school, and my younger son was just a baby, like a toddler, and all through all these years, we'd always make sure we had dinner together. And after everything's made, everybody would wait to eat, of course, and of course, like little kids, like, oh, I want this or that, and we'd always be like, let's wait, we're gonna eat. And when the plates are all ready, my husband would serve the boys first and then me and himself last every time, and never say anything about it or make a big thing about it. In fact, like we're not, this is a non-traditional reading. We're not like a Bible family. We don't go to church or anything like that. In fact, it's like my younger son had an interest in in Jesus and in scripture and in the Bible and all this kind of stuff, like not randomly, because of course it is what it is. It's but it's exposure points we've had. It's not anything that we've tried to hide or anything. It's just neither of us are really, my husband or I are not traditional people, but we do have our own belief in God and in purpose, meaning here in the world. And but it's just that we wouldn't have had like Bible references or anything like that. I'm reading this for the first time now, I think my husband has read it before, but I'm not going to speak for him, but he has a bit of a love-hate relationship with that, the entire church kind of community in his childhood and stuff. So anyway, I'm getting a little off topic. But just to say that he always did that. Just, this is what a father does, the head of the household does, is that not only do you provide and make sure that everybody's provided for, but you do that by making everybody goes before you, and you're the last one. Just like you're the last one to go to bed, you lock up the door. You are the one who sleeps by the door. Like you would be the first one up if there was a problem. There's a different type of service that comes with being number one, the figure, of the head of the household. And men in general are more actionary than females, and they're divinely created for this role. But again, our father, is also the original single, the first, the monad, as some call it, the great logos, the infinite creator. And there's the first singular potential there, and we're created in his image, right? It's Jesus uses this many times. It's such a strong, when you have children as well, it becomes such a strong understanding of what that unbreakable love is, of what that reflection of creation is, and what setting something free really means, and why. Because we love it, and we want to see it free, and we want to experience that and love it for what it can be and will become, and all this, it's easier to learn to extend that out to others, to brethren, and even to strangers, and even as Jesus attempts us to say to those who don't like us, to our enemies even, to extend this kind of appreciation and love out to, and freedom and caring. It's very difficult. But anyways, I totally got off on a tangent. Excuse me for that. Where did we? I think I read just 5. No, I read way past there. Forgive me. Oh, yeah, I had ended with 11 because we had said, but he that is the greatest among you shall be your servant. Right? I love that. I just love that teaching. Anyways, 12. And whoso shall exalt himself shall be abased, and he that shall humble himself shall be exalted. But woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye shut up the kingdom of heaven against men. For ye neither go in yourselves, neither suffer ye them that they are entering to go in. And it's like they're still clogging up the hallways. They're still standing in all of the way at the threshold, in the doorways, with tricks and fees and propagations of all the things that you have to do before you could actually go through. And woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye devour widows' houses, and for a pretense make long prayer. Therefore ye shall receive the greater damnation. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye compass sea and land to make one proselyte, and when he is made, ye make him twofold more the child of hell than yourselves. And I had to stop and look at what this meant for a moment, because I mean, I understand what he means calling them children of hell and making people worse than themselves, because each deviation away gets worse. It's more perverted. It's more dehumanizing. It shifts and scapegoats and hides, and instead of confronting and I had to look up the word, though, proselyte, because I didn't know what it was. And it's a newly converted person is what it is. It's a prospect, basically, that you've just brought in, a new member to Judaism, basically. And just that reaching out, needing of more to come in to power, the system should show the negativity in itself, right? Let's say 16. Woe unto you, ye blind guides, which say, whoso shall ever swear by the temple, it is nothing. But whoso shall swear by the gold of the temple, he is a debtor. Ye fools and blind, for whether is greater, the gold or the temple that sanctifieth the gold? And whoso shall ever swear by the altar, it is nothing. But whoso shall sweareth by the gift that is upon it, he is guilty. Ye fools and blind, for whether is greater, the gift or the altar that sanctifieth the gift? Whoso shall therefore swear by the altar sweareth by it, and by all things thereon. And whoso shall swear by the temple sweareth by it, and by him that dwelleth therein. And he that shall swear by heaven sweareth by the throne of God, and by him that sitteth thereon. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye pay tithe of mint and anise and cumin, and have omitted the weightier matters of the law, judgment, mercy, and faith. These ought ye to have done, and not to leave the other undone. Ye blind guides, which strain at a gnat and swallow a camel, woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye make clean the outside of the cup and of the platter, but within they are full of extortion and excess. Thou, blind Pharisees, cleanse first that which is within the cup and the platter, that the outside of them may be clean also. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you are like unto whitened sepulchres, which indeed appear beautiful outward, but are within full of dead men's bones and of all uncleanness. And this is, I think we're at 19 minutes, so I might talk just a bit about this concept. Read the next 2 verses and talk a bit about this death concept, and to be full of what Jesus is talking about and shining a light on here is very true. It's very relevant to what we're seeing today and into our world. into the shadow and the death and the obsession with necromancy, basically pretty much close to it, that it is rooted in, that he's talking about here. It's a wonderful metaphor, and it's a wonderful direct visual, because we're supposed to be living life bodies, alive bodies, you know. Our physical vessels should be temples to the Lord, and full of life and light and love, and not death and abuse and harm and toxins and uncleanness, you know. Even so ye also outwardly appear righteous unto men, but within ye are full of hypocrisy, iniquity. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because ye build the tombs of the prophets and garnish the scepters of the righteous. Poorly read, excuse me there, but it's, to me, something that's fiery. It's hard to talk about. It is also offensive, degrading, blasphemous, in my opinion, if I dare say it, since I'm not really a traditional person, and it's not really a traditional way to use the word blasphemy, I guess, but it goes against organic life. It is highlighting, obsessing over, and attempting to draw power and retain power and hold power in stagnant positions. And it anchors in these, you know, ancient things, bloodlines and bones and death and corpses and all of these things that we know it innately within us. They're sacred things, they're holy things, they're things, a part of a cycle greater than any man makes, that humbles each man, that we are a part of, that we were created to be a part of and to respect and to honor. I believe, and I think that the Creator believes that as well. And that's dishonoring, inorganic, inverted usage, and in an attempt to create an artificial sense of control and manipulation to harness in other people's attention, light, and energy, filtering it down out of love frequencies of service, that all service should be provided through unconditional love and the frequencies of truth and love. But they've gone everybody to taint their service energies out of that top frequencies and to, you know, dilute them down into negative service of I have to have money, debt, usury, and I've got to pay bills and all these things, and everything's tainted in negativity and becomes just great fuel for their corruption and for their state of government, their state of control and tyranny. It's all the names change, their outfits change, their place of gathering and their centers all change, you know, from one place in the world in this time to another place at that time, but it's all the same song and dance. It's all the same happenings. And yet the truth is the same, and walking the walk is the same, and the narrow path is the same. Life and death are very different, and it's very clear, just like truth and lies are very different. Light and dark are very different, very obvious. And so back to where I started, but you can't serve two masters, and I come full circle. You know, we can't be obsessed with death and about hoarding life energies and creating these artificial versions of idols and egregores and these social and governmental and family and everything. They get all wrapped up in these strange systems that we've given all our power to. You know, time to take back our power and work positive systems and be honest and find that true service and be a part of real communication and communion where everybody is respected as a sovereign input, as a valuable piece to the whole, just like a family unit. Because, yeah, we really are one, aren't we? So I'm going to leave it there, and we'll pick up with the end of the roast for the rest of chapter 23 next week. Thank you so much for listening to me and to listening to these great words of truth. Like I said before I got started, I think they're great things to think on and to reflect outwardly around the world, around us right now, because so many things are very prevalent. And I can really understand, how and why some kind of people could get very fanatical and very wrapped up in things and think that it's going, things are always going to happen the way we think they're going to happen in certain physical formations and certain timelines and certain appearances and manifestations. But the truth is, it's not like that at all. And the more that we open up to that, and the more that we have faith and trust, and to know that things cannot happen the same way twice, and that what we're a part of right now is our own time, and a time for us to come to our own light in our own ways the best we can, and that we do have an active part and role. We have been bestowed with a beautiful purpose that's unique, and that we are meant to come, on our own walk back home, to heaven, to the Father, however you'd like to look at that, in our own way, and that each way is purposeful and meaningful, as long as, we're recognizing our part of the whole, and not trying to exclude on purpose others and say that they're not part of the whole. Everybody has the chance and the choice. That's what there is. That's how come there's a chosen. God doesn't choose favorites. There's nothing like that in heaven or in the organic original template. It's all one in a wholeness. There cannot be a favoritism. That doesn't exist. But there is the fact of chosen in the choice word is that we have the choice ourselves to ignite, and when and how. And that's it. That's about being that you choose yourself to be consciously active and aware in that. And then, of course, God, the Father, the entirety of the whole that is the oneness, recognizes your choice. It must recognize your choice, as it will recognize everyone else's choice individually, sovereignly, and completely. The same exact percentage ratio that you were recognized in. Each one has their own sovereign bit. No matter, I don't think, place or face or culture or anything. I think it's a holistic whole creation. Each fractal, alive, conscious piece of creator has their version, has their path back, Not to say that I don't think we can cast reality and we work together to create and to bring more lightness and see the world as the Creator would like us to see it, to be the best version of ourselves and encourage others to be that, to bring ourselves as close to that as we can while we are alive in this living life, That, I think, is the true service, and the way that we honor God is to love life and enjoy it. Not to extremes either, because that is actually detrimental. That's an imbalance, To honor God correctly is to find a true harmonious balance for yourself, that gentle upward current that you can keep pace with, that is effortless and graceful and enjoyable for the most part, for the majority of time, I think, at least. And I've gone on long enough with what I think, and this has gotten a little longer than I like to be, these episodes, so here we are at half an hour. Thank you for joining me here on beautiful Sunday. I have enjoyed this very much. I hope you'll come back next week. Have a wonderful rest of your day, or if you find this any other time of the day, I hope you make it sacred. At least devote some time to your own personal seeking and connection, right? Thank you for that here and now, and maybe I'll see you next Sunday. Bye for now.